computer speakers are on so you can remember what we talk about. Um, there's really only one thing that at address that I see that you could improve on, but you lack a little bit of space between your legs and your hands right here. So I think that's one reason that sometimes you don't get the shaft. You get the shaft a little too steep coming down because you just don't have enough room. Ball position looks fine. I'm not going to change your grip. Your aim looks good. Of course, we're cheating a little bit with the stick on the ground, but I just would assume that all the rest of it's pretty good. Spine angles are good. So what you need to do in your practice session, I'll show you a drill that you can do. What I do when I practice with my tour players or college players, I put a stick on the ground between the ball and your feet, and then I take another stick in the ground and lean it away from the target like that. So if I'm a drawer, I want to see the ball start right of the stick. If I'm a fader, I want to see it start left of the stick. So you put it about 10 feet. You just lay it kind of at a 45-degree angle so when you hit it, you don't break the stick or anything, but I don't want it to pop back and hit you. So anyway, that's a good way to practice your aim because when you play, you're better off looking at a target that's close to you, like Tiger or Nicklaus or somebody like that. They pick a spot that's say a foot or two out in front of them. So they have something in their peripheral vision all the way to the target because it's very hard to line up at something that's 150 or 2 or 300 yards down the fairway, right? So you're better off aiming at something over here and then just get used to it. I used to work with Tom Kite. I've never seen him practice one ball without a stick on the ground, ever. But Mr. Pinnock was his teacher as well. And if you don't have your aim right, your swing is going to react to your aim, meaning if your feet were this way, you're either going to swing left or hook it, right? If your aim too open, you're either going to pull it or cut it. I'm not telling you that's right or wrong. I'm just telling you that it's different for everybody. But for right now, everything looks good except the spacing. Do you exercise?
I do.
Okay. So one of the things I want you to work on is your glute strength and your quad strength and the flexibility in your hamstrings. I'm going to test you in a minute. But your knee line is too far forward they're outside the balls of your feet. In a perfect world, we want to see the tip end of the knees right at the ball of your foot. So you have too much knee flex. That's why you lack some space between, when you are 6'3", what's the length of your clubs?
Half inch longer. Okay. And Mizuno's, I think, a little bit longer.
Okay. I'll check them in a minute. But really, that's the only thing. Your hand line is outside your shoulder plane. Love that. Your spine angle is pretty good. Average on the tour is probably about 57, 58. So that's good. But your knee angles are too big. That's just too much flex. So you're either tight in your hamstrings or you're not strong enough in your quads and your glutes, or it's just a habit.
I think that is.
Just a habit?
Yes, sir. Okay. I mean, we do squats and lunges and a lot of lower body 3 times a week pretty consistently.
Okay.
So,
well, let's put up a tour player.
Okay.
It's not going to be fair for me to put up Tiger, but I am. But I'm going to put him up when he was in 2001. He was really good. I'm just looking at posture first. Okay. So you can tell he's taller in his legs. Now I know he's not quite as tall as you, but his knee flexion is not nearly as much as yours. So he's got a little bit more spacing underneath here than you do. 2 or 3 inches is a lot. Is off. Your shaft angle's okay, but I think it's either one of two things. You either need to move back away from the ball a little bit so that your hip bend is matching your knee bend, or you need less knee bend. One of the two. He's a little flatter in his back because I think he's a little further away. He's hitting a 7-iron too. So, yeah. So if I put a line at the tip end of his head, let's see how far from the ball he is. That's 90 degrees. That's 90 degrees. So I'd say he's probably maybe an inch and a half further.
And he's just standing straighter up.
He's just taller. He's just taller in his legs and slightly further away. Because you got to have room for your arms to swing. I'm going to show you this first. This is he won 11 times this year. So if I put you halfway down, you're going to see your arms are stuck behind you. So y'all move the shaft the same distance, right? Look at where his right elbow is to his hips. So he's got more room to swing. So a lot of your path issues when you're too steep coming down is because you don't have enough room to get your arms back out in front of you. Okay. So, I'm just big on setup. That's the easiest thing to change to give you more space to get the shaft to shallow out. Because right now you could have a two-way miss. You could pull it, you could hook it, or if you hold on to it, you can hit it to the right.
Those are all misses.
You do a lot of things right there. So what do you see right there
Him or me?
between you and him? What do you see different? Besides your arms being stuck
His
behind
hips
you.
are clear a lot more than mine.
So I think you have one biomechanical flaw. I think the reason your shot dispersion is poor is because you don't use your legs. You're very armsy and handsy, so your timing has to be better. Tour players and really good ball strikers use their legs. So if you watch his knees and his hips, he's pushing off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have any push from the ground. Can you shoot a cannon out of a canoe? How much stability would a cannon have on a canoe in water? So the ground is your biggest leverage to sequence. So watch his hips here. I put a line on his belt. So if I put Rory or Justin or Jason or Jordan or any of those guys, what you would see is their legs are actually pushing from the ground. If you play tennis or baseball or any stick sport, you would use your legs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you play any of those sports?
Um,
Okay. Can you skip a rock off a lake?
yeah.
I would say that. Can you hit a topspin forehand with a ping pong paddle? So you know what the sensation feels like. Your legs are pushing and turning at the same time. His left knee is snapping shut. If I showed you Rory, you'd see the same thing. I'll put a couple, look at yours. So part of that is you're stuck because you didn't have enough room to begin with. So is your legs pushing from the ground right now? So what's moving the fastest?
My
Your hands and your arms. You know how good your timing has to be to do that?
pretty good.
He's square in the face by pushing from the ground and turning in his torso. That's why he can turn left and swing as hard as he wants to. Why does the ball not go left here?
This is through the ball, yeah.
Because the handle's forward. No way, but
The handle, what it is.
he has more forward shaft lean than you. Because he's not using his hands. He's hitting it with his turn.
Okay.
The target is right there. There's the flag right there.
Mm-hmm.
He's swinging left. Why does the ball not go left? The face is square to the arc. Square to the arc. But the handle's inside. Your arms and hands, look how much arms and hands you use there. You see how shut the face is there? So if you're early with the face, it goes left. If you're late with the face, it goes right. So again, we're going to really work on how to use your legs better. All right, let's look at it from the other angle for a
I think
second.
for a while, I really tried to do that, and I would just try to swing too hard. I almost felt like a little bit. I worked with another guy in Tennessee where I live, and he told me the same thing, but and I'd be good for a while, but then I just start getting way too quick, and I would just start really trying to hit it.
Well, quick and tempo is a totally different thing. I mean, the good players, they release the club hard. It doesn't mean that they turn the face over. It means they just release the head. You're trying to crack the whip, but you're using it just with your hands. That's it. You're not using your legs. I can watch you from over here, and I'm just telling you, you spin and then you snap your wrist over. So there's no ground forces in the bottom of your swing. Let's put up another tour player. Let's put up Rory. He's a pretty good ball striker. Or to put up Adam Scott or any of the guys you want to see, and if you watch their legs,
I watch a lot Ernie.
I
feel like my swing is a little bit.
So let's watch his legs when he gets closer to the ball. Watch his knee action. What's his knees doing? The pushing. The pushing. He can release as hard as he wants to as long as his legs are moving. If your legs aren't moving, you're relying on just your hands. That's why they hit it so much straighter. So working on your tempo is a different thing, and You know, I was talking to your grandfather about this, or he was telling me, this is Jordan Speed. I'm good friends with his coach. He trains at our studio in Dallas. Look at his legs. You can tell he's pushing. Look at his left foot. He's using the ground as leverage.
What should I feel in my upper
I'm going to show you that. I think when you get more space, you're going to be able to sense that. But back to what I was going to say. If I mean, your ball flights with your 7-irons were pretty good. I mean, I would say that your misses are not that far off on. I can tell that you hit a couple. But that's the angle of attack, right? If you're hitting it fat or thin, then that's how the club's entering into the ball to the ground. Right? So if you're too steep, if you hit it just a little bit scuffy, which you did in here just a minute ago, it goes nowhere. If you're shallower, more from the inside, even if you were to hit it fat because the club travels along the ground more, kind of like a jet taking off and coming down, you wouldn't come down like this, right? Because if you hit it with the leading edge, your fat goes nowhere. Then the next time you try not to hit it fat, and you try to help it up in the air, and then you hit it thin, right? So when you use your legs, the club actually is traveling along the ground longer. Second thing is you don't have to use your hands to square the club. When your legs are pushing, your hips have to turn, and your chest has to turn. So I'm going to show you how to do that. But back to the issue. If you've got a driver two-way miss, here's your practice routine. After you warm up, you hit 7-iron driver, 7-iron driver, 7-iron driver. I did this with Tiger at the Memorial 2 years ago with Foley because he was hitting it all over the place. He won by 10 or 11, just practicing on tempo and rhythm. Because your tempo and your rhythm looks better with your 7 than it does with your driver. So, and that's critical because your driver goes further, but it goes further offline. Right? So you got to find an 80% golf swing that you know that you can flight the ball, control the behavior of the ball to where it's in play every time. Because if you don't control your driver, you're playing trouble golf all day. That's really hard on your brain. So anyway, that's back to. I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to show you how to work on your tempo too. Let me show you one more swing real quick. Okay, find it. Who's been the straightest, most accurate driver, longest and straightest on the professional tour in the last 7 years? Straightest and longest. All around driving. Tiger was for 3 years, 99, 2000, 2001.
I would say maybe Adam Scott.
Pretty close.
Not Phil.
How about Bubba?
Really?
Look at his stats. Go pull them up. Have you ever watched his feet?
Yeah.
When you use your feet properly, you can swing the club as hard as you want to without worrying about where it's going. Now, within reason. Okay. All right, so here's Rory. This is in Dubai. And I want you to watch his legs coming into the ball. His left leg is straightening and his right knee is pushing up. What you do is you just spin and turn the club over. See your hands, how active they are there? If your timing's good, you can play good, but if your timing's bad, you're not going to play as well. We're trying to reduce timing, right? Adam Scott, what did he say the other day after he won? He said, I've never had so much confidence that I could swing as hard as I want to and didn't worry about where the ball was going. Okay. Because he uses his legs. I mean, that's the bottom line. You're kind of a hands and arms player. I see this all the time. I just had an Oklahoma State kid here this morning. 2.5 hours. That's all we worked on. And we worked on his tempo and his rhythm. But everything else looks good. I like your grip. I like your posture other than your legs and your spacing. Your aim looks okay today. I'm not going to change your takeaway. That's fine. I like your transition till you get halfway down. Till you get here, and then your legs just go dead. Well, you're kind of stuck. That's one reason, because you don't have enough room. So your arms are out racing your body. See that? So if your arms are too fast, it goes left, and if your arms are too slow, it goes to the right.
So when I'm setting